Kara?
You know, we're monitoring our credit cards, bank accounts. Now you got to watch your apps. Tech expert Dave Hatter tells us about the latest way hackers are trying to steal your money and what you can do to continue to protect yourself. You know, another way they're getting to people.
Unfortunately, it never ends.
Okay, break this one down for us because it's a little complicated.
It is a little complicated. So basically, Starbucks launched an app because it's a loyalty thing for them, and it helps them save money because they eliminate credit card transactions. So you set up an account, you use their mobile app, you can pay with your phone at checkout because you've got a bank account linked to an account at Starbucks, and it just takes money out of that account. So you go to the checkout, you use your mobile phone, boom. Hackers, according to Starbucks, have not compromised the app. What they're doing is they're breaking into Starbucks.com. So hackers bought a list, they got your username and password from the Home Depot hack or somewhere, or they're just using a program to crack it. They break into your Starbucks.com account, and this is pretty ingenious, unfortunately, and they basically take the money off the card that's associated with that account. If you've got that set up to automatically reload, so it's tied to a PayPal account or a debit card or credit card, they can then suck more money into the Starbucks account, which they spend again, or they send a gift card to someone else. Several people have had hundreds of dollars stolen this way, but it's not the app itself. It's that linkage to an account at Starbucks.com and someone breaking into that. And most of the time, this really is not a super technical thing. People are not using good security practices. They're using bad passwords. They're using passwords that are the same across multiple accounts, so hackers get your information from account X, they stumble into Starbucks, realize you've got an account there, and they start stealing your money.
I feel like it all goes back to the passwords. We talk about this every time.
It does so often because, you know, if you use a really easy to guess password, if it doesn't have letters and symbols and numbers, a strong password in like text speak, it's really, really easy to break into these accounts. And this is another example. So banks are really good at fraud detection. They start to see all kinds of transactions on your card. They shut it down. Here, this looks legitimate. You've got a Starbucks account. You've bought stuff before. All of a sudden, some transactions go through. They're for small amounts. The bank doesn't see that as fraud. So this is a new way, and I predict you will see this happen not just at Starbucks, but anywhere where you can link an account and have some kind of automatic transaction take place. You ought to really think hard about, does it make sense to have that set up? Is it really worth the convenience of paying with your phone at Starbucks, or should you just pay with cash or use a credit card?
To put yourself at risk.
I would never link something like this up personally. There's just too much risk.
Oh, wow. Okay, you heard it from Dave then. That's your biggest point of advice. But if someone goes, no, by golly, I'm doing it, what's your second point of advice?
Then you need to make sure that you have a separate password for every account you use. You need to use a strong password, and you need to monitor the account. So if you start to see these transactions showing up, you can try to shut the thing down and delink it, because even if you turn off the auto reload feature, if your bank account information is still in there, I can go in and turn it back on and start stealing your money again.
Oh, so even if you turn off like the auto refill.
Right. If you don't totally delink your account, if I could go back in and relink it and it's still got the credit card or PayPal information in there, then I can start stealing your money again. So yeah, it's not enough just to break that auto reload connection. If I can get into your account at Starbucks.com or wherever, I can start stealing the money again. That's why I would not set this up in the first place.
Okay, well, you've convinced me.
Too risky.
Before we go, I know that VENOM is something that you may hear in the headlines over the next couple of weeks. So we just want to mention that VENOM is something that you say is a lot of complicated tech talk.
Basically it gets into virtualization. Data centers, cloud providers, instead of having a whole bunch of physical servers, will typically try to have as few as possible, and you then use a technique called virtualization to set up virtual servers. This is a flaw in the code that makes the virtualization possible, and basically, unfortunately, hackers can use this technique to break into all of the virtual servers on the physical box. So in theory, you could take over a whole data center like this. The good news for you as a consumer is, although this has been in the wild for about 10 years, since it's been discovered, vendors have patched it pretty quickly. Amazon's got their cloud services patched. Microsoft's it's not affected by it, nor is Google. So it's well known, and unless you're an IT person, in all likelihood, this will not affect you, but it's getting a lot of ugly headlines. They're comparing it to Heartbleed. In my opinion, it's not nearly as significant as that, and it's probably not going to affect most people.
Okay, well, some perspective on that. Break it down for us. So
not something you should worry about, in my opinion.
But you will hear about it, so
you're going to hear about it.
Thanks so much, Dave.
No problem.
We appreciate it. Okay, here's what you need to know to start your day. Rob's standing by.